Highlander.
Highlander, am I right?
Am I right, ladies? Highlander. Am I right?
Banger format.
I mean, I have been in the back of my mind being like, I need to message Billinghurst about this like Kithkin that I can put creatures onto the battlefield because, oh boy, with Voice of Victory and Mox Ruby and Mox Pearl. Ah!
Aren't you playing Blue Moon?
For now.
For now.
Okay, this is actually a really interesting conversation because I have kind of been struggling in Highlander a little bit.
Okay.
Not only in terms of putting up results, I am not very good right now.
Neither am I. It's great. This format's hard.
This format is so hard. But I've been struggling in the way of like, Billinghurst is like, the Esper guy.
Sure.
And Mulch is the Nadu guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, Young Jinhao is the Blue Moon guy. And, Kyle is your Dimir guy. Trent is your Bots guy.
Sure.
I don't feel like I have an archetype yet that I'm so in love with that I want to focus. Like, I love Blue Moon because I really do love Blood Moon, and I really do love Harbinger this season, and I love Back to Basics. But I think something that I'm learning about myself is I am not a very good control player.
For what it's worth, I don't think anybody is. Control is one of those deck archetypes that is so extraordinarily difficult.
It is. And I think this is often as well where, coming from, the vintage power level of Highlander is so much greater than even your modern, right? And so understanding where to time your prison effects, where to land your counter spells, what threats to mitigate, like it takes so much thinking. And for that reason, I think I should be an aggro player.
Sure.
Turn sideways.
It's funny you say that.
Okay.
So I've been iterating a lot on Meia because that is it's an 8-point deck, it's a fun deck. And I started off with a relatively controlling version of the deck. And every time I played it, I was like, I need this deck to be more aggressive. I need this deck to kill people. And I think that is just a little bit of like where Highlander is sitting right now. I think it is just really good to be assertive in Highlander because even if you are controlling, it does not take, because the enablers are so powerful, it does not take a lot for somebody to turn the corner on a control deck and kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah. 100%. And this is also why I'm currently a big fan of Billinghurst's build of Moons, because it slants slightly more aggressive where it needs to. This is largely because of the singular Billinghurst card, Eris, Roar of Storms, which is a very good card. Not great when it's in your opening hand, but a very good late game card, very good in the mirror. And in liking that card, I was like, I like aggressive cards. And so the archetype that I've been flirting with is Initiative.
Sure.
Which I think
like the Mardu version?
Mardu Initiative, Boros Initiative, like
White-Red X Initiative.
White-Red X Initiative. And it was a really interesting conversation because friend of the show, Vi, I had her build me a couple different Boros decks, Initiative, Boros aggro leaning and then Boros Initiative leaning. And one of the things she was like, have you ever played? I was like, I just think Initiative's super cool. And she was like, have you ever played against it? And I was like, no. And she's like, that's why you think it's cool. It's because it sucks.
It is very one-sided for sure. But again, it's Highlander.
Yeah.
This is the format that is basically the most well-equipped to deal with something like Initiative. And it's not like there isn't any counterplay. Like, sure, your deck is best positioned to take and hold the Initiative, but sometimes they're just going to play a bit of Bloom Bear in the end step of the turn you take the Initiative, and then you're never going to have the Initiative again.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And that does suck. I really want to, there's decks that I've played that I really liked. Will Lamarca's deck, his lands deck. I love that deck.
That deck's very
I think
cool.
that deck is so cool. And I like lands. If I would be remiss not to say, if Back to Basics and Blood Moon are two of my favorite cards, I can't not talk about Strip Mine and Wasteland. I love those cards. But yeah, I'm still in this kind of funky Highlander limbo of not feeling like I've fully found my footing. And so it's one of the reasons why I think I've asked Vi now to build me 7 different Highlander decks, just because I'm seeking and trying to find that thing that I love so much. I think with a format that's kind of as open as Highlander is, there's so much room for innovating and thinking. I was talking to Ash, and she's also building an initiative style deck. And I was like, ooh, mayhaps I can see your list later, because that sounds really cool, because I think initiative is an awesome mechanic. And in saying that, I think it's crazy. I think it's fair. I understand that it's fair. White Plume Adventure being 3 points. Same points as Lutri? Damn.
That card is messed up.
The card is absolutely messed up. Absolutely messed up. Horrible.
In my mind, the reason that card is 3 points is because you really should not be able to play it and Black Lotus in the same deck.
Oh God, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And thankfully, what Black Lotus is 5 now. Your points could have been Lotus White Plume Adventure and literally nothing else. I mean, plenty of people had, Tinker Lotus, and those were their entire points. But in saying, initiative is unfair in that, there's tools to deal with it. Storm was for a period of time able to kill you on turn 1.
Still is.
Scary. Upsetting.
Yep.
Deeply upsetting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying Highlander. You're playing 8-point Dimir.
I was.
Oh.
Yes.
What
I've been playing a bunch
changed?
of I decided that I wanted to kill people in a slightly different way. I decided that interacting was for chumps, and instead you should just combo kill them.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep. I'm playing Thoracle.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. So Justin Chung won the single player.
Justin!
Yeah, the single player Highlander event at Plenty of Games.
Yes,
with
he did.
a 7-point Thoracle deck, and I was like, that feels like Ad Nauseam. I should play that deck. And so I picked up the cards for it, and I'm playing an 8-point version because Underground Sea is $1,000. And the secondary market doesn't exist and can't hurt you.
It doesn't exist and can't hurt you.
And the reserve list doesn't exist and can't hurt you.
It's true.
But I get to play Mental Misstep. Woo! That card's pretty good.
Misstep is really good.
But yeah, the deck's great. It's basically just every tutor, Thoracle, the combo pieces, and then every free counterspell.
Yeah. Very good.
Just gets there a lot of the time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I will say the pace of Highlander is so fun sometimes.
Oh?
I love being on the draw and misstepping my opponent's 1-drop.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, you thought I couldn't cast spells because I have no lands? Misstep your dork.
Misstep Inquisition is so nice. It makes me so happy.
It's so good.
Wow.
Utterly incredible. To just, time walking.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
It seems pretty good.
Because, balancing the play draw disparity is something that's talked about in every single format. Being able to balance out whether you're on the draw or on the play is really important. And in a format that's as powerful as Highlander, there's also you just feel so smug. Anytime I've played against JD and I get to misstep their 1-drop and I'm on the draw, that to me is winning the game. I'm just so smug.
You know what feels really good? Misstepping their 1-drop and spell snaring their 2-drop.
Yeah.
They can't win.
Exactly.
They just immediately die. They are legally obliged to concede at that point. It's in the Magic tournament rules. It's hidden in the thing. If your opponent pays life to misstep your 1-drop and then counters your 2-drop with a spell snare, you must concede.
You must concede. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yep. Alternate win con. There are actually 5 ways to win a game of Magic.
Misstep spells. I love it. I mean, I'm really excited. We're recording this before CanCon.
I know, me too. Hopefully it comes out after CanCon, because otherwise I've just told everyone what I'm playing. But that's fine.
I think based on the way that we record these, it's definitely coming out after CanCon. So this is being recorded before CanCon, and this will be released after it.
Woo!
So this episode currently exists in the time vortex.
Also, for what it's worth, I'm bad at Highlander. People knowing what I'm playing is not going to change my win rate. I will go 06 milkshake either way.
We don't have a points update for Lorwyn, do we?
I have no idea. I haven't checked. I don't think Thoracle's getting pointed, so I don't care.
Nothing that I care about is getting pointed, so.
Unless Misstep goes to 2, in which case I'm going to be very sad.
No way Misstep to 2.
I doubt it.
No way Misstep to 2.
It was a joke.
Good. Ugh.
Have you
making me upset.
There is some talk about people being like, should Underground C go to 1 point?
There are some fringe opinions that exist that duels should be half a point each.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah. And it largely just has to do with the idea of like discouraging people from, because, there are countervailing points here.
Okay.
One being the people who are like, don't point mana bases, that's ridiculous. To which some people say like strip and waste are pointed. And it's like for different reasons.
It's not a mana base.
It's not a mana base. They're land destruction spells, really. But there's countervailing points of one being, this is a powerful format. I should be able to have the most ideal mana. I should be able to have, if I want to play 4-color control on ideal mana, I should be able to do that because there are things that exist like strip, wastes, and, cleansing wildfire and other land destruction spells that make this mana base worse because there's no basics to fetch out of the deck. And you can, time walk people in a way.
All right, go with me here. Wizards print the duels, but they're legendary, so they're strictly worse, which they can do.
Okay.
And then we point all the true duels.
Interesting. I don't see how making them legendary in a 1-of format helps that much.
Exactly.
Oh.
It just closes the 8.7 point disparity a bit.
Right. Well, so that was what people were, when they're saying, the other side of this is in a very powerful format, it's not fair to have the most ideal, efficient version of your mana base with no, balance to that. The fact that there's no points attached to your mana base, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm not saying this is what I believe. This is just
percentage points attached to your mana base because Blood Moon exists and Price of Progress exists.
This is why.
I cannot tell you how much I love the card Price of Progress. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Look, hey, Price of Progress under an Isochron Scepter.
Woohoo!
Beautiful.
Price of Progress, Snap Custom Age Price of Progress? Yes, please.
Something that I do love with Price of Progress, so a play pattern that I do love with the Price of Progress is this will end in a draw. That is my decision. No one gets to win. Pop, pop.
Pop the draw.
Yeah. Look, again, the two opinions on whether or not duels should be pointed is there's so much weight and there's so much nuance and context behind that. I don't necessarily agree because of the presence of cards like Back to Basics, Blood Moon, Flood Moon, Strip Wastes, but I understand the argument. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. I'm yeah, sure, if you're trying to, especially if you, because you believe that the disparity between 7 and 8 points is so high because of duels, there's room for conversation as to how that disparity can continue to be reduced.
Yeah, as somebody who does not own a dual land.
Yeah, me too.
Woo! Ow. I think that losing a point is already enough of a cost for playing duels. Right. And this is something you really see in the Thoracle deck as well. The 7-point the 7-point version of the deck I would be playing, the only card on the reserve list is Underground C. So Underground C is functionally your 8th point. I think that's a fine dynamic. And also, I don't want to restrict people playing with their, like, very cool, very expensive old lands, because there isn't a place to play them outside of Highlander anymore, really. What are you going to do? Go to a legacy tournament? No.
Where you need 4 underground seas?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so.
No. Absolutely not. Unless you want to play, I guess, Death Shadow. Is that deck still playable in Legacy? I don't think so.
I don't know anything about Legacy because I'm too poor to know anything about Legacy.
Mood. But yeah, like, I don't want to punish people for owning and having cool cards.
No, for sure. The way that I punish them is I price of progress back to basics them.
Exactly.
Like that's where like my smug little like, oh, that's a nice underground sea over there. It'd be a shame if it was a mountain. Like that's where that comes
your
from.
Your underground sea is actually a shockland. You just don't know it yet.
Guys. No, and Highlander's really cool for that. And I think, you know, again, countervailing opinions. I mean, there's also people, you know, I think there is no shortage of Highlander players with opinions.
What?
There are
Magic players opinions.
Well,
why never.
I mean, especially Highlander players who exist. There exists, if you are unfamiliar, in the 7 Point Highlander Discord, there is a channel that is called Public Points Discussion, and it's exactly what's written on the tin. It's where people get to discuss points.
I have that channel muted.
I do too. Peace and love to everyone who participates in the PPD. Because everyone gets to say you get to say whatever you want. It's a public points discussion. And there was recently a back and forth about Brainstorm getting pointed.
That's a common back and forth, I think.
It's a common back and forth, and I think resolutely the answer, as I understand it from the committee, is always no. Literally never.
Yeah. Look, I can understand the calls for it. Brainstorm is the most powerful card that isn't a point. And I don't think it's particularly close. But it is also, it kind of has the Entomb Reanimate problem from Legacy. So for those who don't know, Entomb Reanimate for a very long time was the most powerful thing and didn't get banned because it was such the iconic Legacy thing to do. It was basically the poster child of Legacy for the longest time. And Brainstorm kind of is that for Highlander, right? Like, if you're playing blue, you're playing Brainstorm. That card is just good enough that you have to play it. And yeah, it's very powerful, but I think to point it would be...
I think that says something bad about the format, if you point it.
Yeah, I just think it's unnecessary. I think it is a concession you can have.
I think pointing Misstep makes more sense than putting Misstep to 2 makes more sense than pointing Brainstorm.
I disagree, but I don't talk in the public points discussion channel, so...
I think, yeah. I think there's just something like, and you know, we've had chats with committee members. There is something that's very serious about pointing cards because it changes a lot of decks. Trent has been decrying that bots got really wrecked with the last points update, and
which fair.
It really did, and
got a lot of It kind of died for Storm's sins, alas.
Yeah, collateral in the war against Storm, very much so. But it's very serious. Like, when points get updated and decks like become unplayable or archetypes become way less favored and less powerful, like, it's very, very serious. I mean, you know, I understand that Brainstorm is played all the time. You know, at the POG Invitational in December of last year, 20 out of 24 people had Brainstorm in their deck. And the only 4 that didn't were people who weren't playing blue. You know, like, the lands deck that doesn't play blue was not playing Brainstorm.
Should have been splashing.
But it's so interesting. Someone that I really want to talk to about Brainstorm is Ethan.
Sure.
Ethan does not believe and is staunchly like Brainstorm's not a good card. And I think that largely has to do with when people are casting it, what they're trying to achieve with their Brainstorm, and not understanding what like the floor on Brainstorm is.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like people, myself included, play Brainstorm wrong. It is
Frequently.
It is
Frequently have played it wrong.
Yeah, it is a time-honored Magic tradition. It is incredibly hard to play that card correctly.
Yeah.
It's so difficult and nuanced.
It's reminiscent of like Reed Duke's Thoughtseize article.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah,
there is
100%.
there is so much nuance with Brainstorm that like the mark of a good Magic player is how they cast Brainstorm.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a chef's hat, right? You get another notch for every different way you can cast Brainstorm.
Yeah. Well, and for casting it properly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really interesting. There's moments as well. I am susceptible to suggestion. There have been moments where I'm like listening to Ethan and I'm like, Brainstorm sucks. And then like the little like LSV on my shoulders, like, don't listen to him. That's not true.
Brainstorm, very, very good. Brainstorm definitely, it is worse in practice than it is in paper because it is cast so suboptimally.
Mm-hmm.
It's
hard to cast. I am
dragging that average down, let me tell you. But yeah, at its face, the card is exceptionally powerful. And I think if every player, like if we waved a magic wand and everybody played Brainstorm optimally every time, it would become incredibly obvious incredibly quickly that it needed to be pointed.
Mm.
But that's just not the reality we live in. And I, for one, like my free Brainstorm.
I think as well, there are going to be cards that are like pretty ubiquitous across decks that aren't pointed.
Mm.
I think that's just going to kind of be
Flooded Strand.
Yeah, your mana dorks as well, right? Your bops and your hierarchs. Ubiquitous, you know. There are plenty of decks that play dorks, like your mothers of runes and things and such. There are cards that will be pointed in a pointed format, and there are cards that will remain unpointed.
Definitionally so.
By definition, there are cards that are legal in the format and cards that aren't.
Mm-hmm. Well, not that one.
Not that one.
Well, actually, no. Yes, that one. I'm wrong. Ignore me.
Isn't because like Brainstorm's not legal in standard. It's not legal in modern, is it?
Well, you said card will be legal in this format, but not legal in this format.
Oh, well.
Unless I'm insane. I'm tired. I could be nuts. Who knows?
This is a time in the round episode.
Yep, it doesn't matter. This is getting cut.
This is just a chit chat. This is just a chit chat episode.
Speaking of which, I am hungry.
Hungry?
Let's go get food.
We're gonna have pho for lunch today.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be really exciting.
I'm so excited.
You excited for CanCon?
Yes.
Make a prediction. How do you think you're gonna do? And then I'll put on the screen what happened.
1 and 6.
I'm gonna say one better. I'm gonna say you go 2 and 5. I believe in you being better.
Well, I'm playing a deck I'm better at, so
okay.
maybe you will get there.
I'm gonna say you're gonna do better than you think.
Okay.
And we'll find out what happens.
Get your Magic advice from somebody who goes 1 and 6 at Highlander tournaments.